Hello and welcome to the Watch Doctor. My name's Ian and I'm back from my COVID haircut, as you can tell, so it's a bit more manageable now. Today we're going to be talking about the Citizen Promaster Blue Angels Edition Eco Drive. So let's get to the table, let's unbox it, let's check it out, let's have a look at what we got. Here we go. It comes in this zip-up pouch. I believe you can actually get it in a Pelican pouch, like a Pelican box, but I bought mine from Creation Watches, which I believe is a grey market dealer. Massive downside of this encyclopedia that you need to read. Yes, I bought it. So it came from Singapore, so I think they put it in the flat pack one for easier transportation. It came in at about £250 instead of about £500. And there you go, that's a full reference, JY8078. And yeah, it's absolutely packed with features, and there you can see it's already ticking away being a quartz. So the way things work on it then, you have this rotating bezel, which I'll go through a little bit more in detail later. But here, this will actually check once you've pressed this, whether it's high, medium or low signal that's received by the watch for its accuracy. If you don't receive a signal, it clicks on no, and whilst it's receiving a signal, it sits on RX to say it's receiving. Nice backlight there. I'll try and get a loom shot later, but the hands are actually loomed in blue. So there you go, the Blue Angels logo on the back. Not exactly sure how the case seals, but as it says, you don't open it, it's just for the service centre, but you shouldn't need to open it as it's a solar powered module inside. Got a good size heft to it, measure it up in a second. But yeah, as you can see, all of those seconds hit bang on those second markers. It's fantastically accurate. So you've got your backlight up at the top, and then if you press and pull out the crown here, which I thought would screw down, but it doesn't, but it still has 200 meters water resistant. You can flick through the functions then. So you've got alarm, you've got the calendar, you've got the timer, which is a stopwatch, countdown timer, and you've got chronograph, which is your stopwatch. So yeah, once everything's pushed in, I thought, as I say, they look like screw down crowns to start with, but they're not. They just pop in and out like so, and then that allows you to move through the different functions of the watch. And then if you pull it out to the second stage, you can actually then set things. So you pull it out once and you can actually move from function to function. You pull it out to the second position and then you can actually set various things. So that'll let you set your chronograph, your countdown timer, your countdown timer, but it'll also let you manually set, because similar to the Casio that I reviewed earlier in the month, it won't pick up signals from some places. So for instance, it doesn't pick up Australia. You should have to set that manually. So yeah, 200 meters water resistance, sapphire crystal, and just, it's quite a big watch, but as you'll see in a bit when I put it on wrist, I think I can pull it off, but quite impressed with all the features. So if we now sort of move, that would be how you set your alarm function. You can set it to on or off, and then you can obviously set the specific time as well. It's got two alarms and they both sound different, so you can set one for one thing, one for another. And then as you move around, we've also got various functions that you can set for world time and date and calendar. So you don't just have to have the date set to where you're actually sat at the minute. You can actually have that set to a second time zone. So useful if you've got other people across the world, you know what day they're on. So there we go. It's a closer look at it then. I think I just really like the colour combination of the white, the yellow and the blue, which if you look at the Blue Angels website, it's the US Navy's aerobatics team. So yeah, and here we go, sort of some of the functions there around set this to New York time zone at the minute, and there are all your different various time zones that you can flick through. Once you've set that, you can have your main time zone on the two main hands. You can have your second time zone there in that window, and if you see at the top where it says Citizen, you've also got this UTC time zone, and that never changes, but obviously the one here in the window does. So here we go, push that back in. That's your countdown timer, so that's running from 12 minutes, and you can reset that. If you pull that out and move it along, there's your stopwatch function, start, stop, and reset. Pull it out one more click, move it along. That's your world time function, alarm function, and that lets you turn the alarm on and off. Second alarm function, exactly the same. And then the function between alarm 2 and time is your reception, and this is the UTC dial that I was talking about. Over here it shows your charge, so that's actually showing that it's fully charged, and if you pull this out, that will actually show you as well that it's set to the European tower signal to actually pick up, but at the moment for some reason it's now saying that it's not picking the signal up, or it hasn't. So I'll tell you what, I'll come off camera, I'll put that in the window and I'll set that accurately, and I'll show you what that function does. So in the meantime, while I'm doing that, here's the website for Citizen. So it's absolutely packed with features. It's got a list as long as your arm of things it can do. So you go 24 hours, it's got UTC, you can check your reception strength, anti-reflective sapphire crystal, you can check how fully charged your watch is as well, and this is it as you move around from the side. So this was it on the bracelet, but as you can tell I went for it on the strap, and this is the Citizen website, $520, but I will leave a link as to where I bought it from for 260 English. So here we go now, I've set it, so if I press that you can see now that it's received a high strength signal for the watch. And yes, if you just look above the 9 o'clock up here, it shows that it was on Europe, and that's where it took the signal from, and it goes all the way back up to the top to say it's fully charged. So let's have a look at some specs then. So on the calipers, this is coming in at a case width of just under 47mm. It's probably just to do with how I'm measuring it, to be honest, but it's 47mm out of the box. Quite chunky on the wrist, so just under 15mm for the depth of the watch. Lug to lug, now thankfully this is only around the 48 to 49 mark, so it does make a big difference if you've got a big dial and you don't have a short lug to lug. And the strap width, lug width there, sorry, is 22mm. So yeah, lots of strap options that you can put on that, but to be honest, why would you, when the strap I think fits so well with the rest of the colour combinations. And there it is ticking away, look at that, bang on every single marker, no chapter ring issues with that. And yeah, blue logo, Blue Angels logo rather on the back. I just really like this. I've had this now for getting on for 6 months, really comfortable. That clasp there is pretty enormous, but to be fair, so is the watch. I think it suits. And there it is on wrist, 7.5-inch wrist, and I think I can pull that off just about. Not too chunky when it's on wrist, I don't think. It's not exactly going to slip under a cuff, and it's not really for business use anyway. You wouldn't really wear it with a suit. It's more an outdoor type watch. And this rotating bezel, I have had a look at the manual. You can use it for basic calculator functions, and you can work out time and distance, etc. But I don't think many people will. And here in the manual, I just brought this out to show you. So you've got China, the US and Japan, and also Europe, and these are the areas of coverage that once it picks up that tower signal, that's what gives you your reception. But I mean, this is enormous. It's not all English. So I think the English section is about 110, 120 pages long. Yeah, there you go, 120 pages. So quite substantial amount of a book to read through if you want to know about all the watch's functions. So maybe one that you do need to put some time aside. And here it is in the South Yorkshire sun, glistening away. Look at that AR coating. I think I've got it directly into the sunlight there. Let's just try and see if I can get There you go. So fantastic. I really like the colour scheme, as I say. Big watch, but I think well worth it. So there we go, back to the green room. Citizen Promaster Blue Angels Edition, Eco Drive, solar powered. It's got an awful lot going for it. I was quite surprised that the crown didn't screw down actually, but that gives it the 200 meter water resistance whether you remember to mess with it or not. I'm really impressed by how accurate it is. Very similar to the Casio, which I reviewed first. If you haven't seen that yet, check that out. I'll leave a link above. I'll also try and remember where I bought it from, but I didn't pay the price that we were showing on the videos earlier. It was quite a lot less. I think I got it for about 250 English, but I'll put the link for that as well in the display. But with all the features it's got, I like the backlight, I like the blue lume on it. I have had a look at how you work the rotating bezel in that huge encyclopedic manual. It's okay. I mean, if you've got a calculator now, like everybody carries on a smartphone, you're not really going to ever need it. It's more of a gimmick. Very busy dial. I can understand why a lot of people won't like it. On my 7.5 inch wrist, I think I can just about pull it off with the size. So again, a very big watch too. But I like the colour scheme. I didn't opt for the bracelet. I went for the strap instead. I like the flashes of yellow and the flashes of blue, which is obviously the insignia of the Blue Angels. Really good watch for the money. So there you go. Citizen Promaster Eco Drive Edition. So thank you once again for sticking around to the end of the video. Please remember to subscribe, like, add a comment if you want to, and I'll reply to you. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one.